Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Delighted to have your company with us. We're going to talk football. The weekend's Premiership card is back. All the games on the Saturday, one of them to accommodate the American audience. We'll talk about that in the company of Alan Ruff, Charlie Adam and Tam McManus here with us, and we'll be reading out more than a few of your messages. If you want to actually just post us a message live on the show and you want to stay up to date with all the breaking sports stories, you can by downloading the PLZ Soccer app. If you do that, you can basically go into submissions and just post your message and we'll get it live on this programme, or indeed we can read it out from the feed as well. So lots to talk about. Ange Postecoglou, we'll have Jim Goodwin, we'll hear from Callum Davison, Robbie Nielsen, Michael Smith, Stephen Glass, Graham Alexander, Mikel Arteta, and a wee bit of skill from Erling Haaland on the show, Ruffy, that are really, it's just world class to say at the very least on it. We'll talk about that and get Charlie's thoughts on it, because I reckon, without being dismissive of everybody here, I reckon Charlie's probably the only one who could pull that off to equal
Haaland.
Haaland.
Golf balls?
Yeah, can you? And that is the next video clip for next week. Anyway, apart from anything else, all roads lead to Ibrox, Ruffy, for Rangers against Hearts, and there seems to be, it's not an arrogance, there's a confidence about the Jambos coming through.
Yeah, I think you've got to be confident. You've got to go to Ibrox and Parkhead with a bit of confidence and believe that you can pull it off. But it's a one thing being confident and going out and doing it. We saw Hibs making a bash at it, and obviously the sending off. The final result would be up the air, if he's still on the park. So Hearts will go there with a bit of belief, but Rangers are strong at home. Yeah, whether they're not playing as well as what they were last year, they're still winning games. They're still top of the league. They've still got top players. So Hearts will have to be at their best to take anything out of that game.
Yeah, here's how Rangers against Hearts fits into the schedule for Saturday in the Scottish Premiership. It's Hibs against Dundee United. That's a cracker. Motherwell Celtic. Rangers against Hearts. Ross County St Mirren. Also, we've got St Johnstone Livingston and Dundee against Aberdeen, which is a game we'll talk to Charlie about in detail and get the lowdown on how he's feeling ahead of that match. But it's first place Rangers taking on second place Hearts. There's only a point between them. And suddenly, if they were to hit the front, Charlie, it would be a real surge in confidence for them. I can't think of a game in a long while where suddenly, Hibs had the chance, Hearts have the chance to go to the top of the table.
No, and listen, when you're at the top like Rangers have been probably for the last 18 months, winning the league, everybody's wanting to shoot you down. And it's nice to see that, teams are going there with a bit of confidence. It sets up, it's a top of the table clash, and they deserve to go there with a bit of confidence. But like I say, it's a tough place to go. You're playing against the best teams, best players in the country at the moment, and they'll have to be on their mettle. They'll have to play everybody in their team will have to play well and hope those 3 or 4 Rangers players have an off day to have a chance of winning the football match.
And Stephen Gerrard, fairly sympathetic towards Hearts and the treatment when in lockdown the league was called and they had to go down into the Championship. He said they were treated unfairly.
Yeah, I think they probably were. Listen, we can argue all day about it, but the bottom line was we were the bottom of the league at the time, and for me, I think they were getting relegated. They were a sinking ship, but Hearts fans will argue that they could have got out of it, and you've got to accept that. So I think there was a few teams that were hard done by. Probably Ruffy's club, probably the worst. So listen, I think it'll be a good game tomorrow. If Hearts can keep 11 men apart, I think they'll possibly get a result.
Yeah, one of the main talking points, of course, is this frenzy around who's going to get the Newcastle United job. But Steve Bruce is still in the job and will take charge of the Magpies in the game against Tottenham Hotspur. So that's his 1,000th game in charge, which is remarkable. I think he's a good manager. I even thought Sunderland made a huge mistake when they sacked him, Ruffy. I think he's got a lot to offer. And I just, sometimes you look and you wonder if it's not better to say, okay, you did a remarkable job with what you had at your disposal, and the other players that were signed maybe not your blessing. Give him a go with money, but I think it looks as if it's odds on for all change.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, we know in football that things change day by day, and sometimes you're not privy to what's happening behind the scenes. So We'll just have to wait and see. You know, that I just think in football anything can happen.
Yeah, here's what Steven Gerrard said about the link with him and the Newcastle United job. I've certainly got one eye on Newcastle in terms of watching Brucey get his 1000th game. He's a great character of the game, someone who I've got a personal relationship with and have the utmost respect for. Sitting in this position, I certainly wouldn't like anybody to be speculating about my job, so I certainly won't be getting involved in any of the speculation towards his. I'm sure everyone involved with the game is looking on with interest to see how it develops, but from a personal point of view, I don't really get involved in speculation, and I wish Steve all the best. And you would expect that of Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, listen, he's humility, and he's got, you know, the class that as a player, but on and off the pitch. So, you know, we talk about it. He's always going to be linked because he's the next up and coming manager. He's an English manager. That's what, you know, this consortium might want to go with. You know, Frank Lampard's been mentioned. Eddie Howe's obviously has been mentioned as well. So we don't know what way this consortium want to go. They've obviously spoken to Steve, and he spoke well, and he obviously has a frustration of how the football club was run before, but he'll always be under pressure because he's Mike Ashley's man. Mike Ashley brought him in but to steady the ship. He'd done a great job with no funds, but yeah, he'll be under that pressure. But now, you know, if he goes and wins Saturday or Sunday, does that change dynamics of how this consortium are thinking? Well, you know, if we can get a result, there's a good feel-good factor. Well, let's ride that crest of a wave until the opportunity comes. I think that what you're just hearing is that they haven't got a manager lined up. I think they're taking their time because they're looking for the right person to come in. I think there's a lot more problems at Newcastle than just the manager. The infrastructure in the background, sporting director maybe going to come in. So, yeah, I'm delighted to see Steve get 1,000 games is an incredible record. Yeah,
Steven Gerrard will be concentrating on what Rangers can do against a Hearts side that are unbeaten this season in the league with 5 wins and 3 draws. And Robbie Neilson is certainly just throwing the gauntlet down to his players to say, can you take that next step?
It's a huge game. You know, it's one that, you know, probably after the derby matches, it's the one that you look for as well, going to Glasgow. So it's a big test for us. It would be another big step for us. You know, we spoke at the start of the season about, you know, improving the away record in general, because it's not been good enough for the last 10-15 years, and then going to Ibrox and Parkhead and going through to Glasgow and winning games is probably the hardest task for any team. You know, and if we can do that, then it sets us up well.
Find out if indeed Hearts can do that. I'm just looking at their performances. Got to give them great credit. We have mentioned before that quite a lot of people were thinking the pressure was going to be on Robbie Neilson. The players he's brought in, they've responded big time. Who do you think's been their shining light this season on the park?
I think they've had a few. I think that Beningame, is that the lad's name? Sorry, I butchered his name there. Beningame,
Don't worry about it. Ruffy's butchered every name in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah, I think he's been exceptional. You know, he's brought him in the middle of the park, and I think he's exactly what they've needed. You know, he's strong in there. He's gave them a bit of strength in the middle of the park. You know, and I think Ben Woodburn's been a good signing for them as well. Barry Mackay's come in, starting to look the part and look sharp. So I think they've got a good squad. He's definitely been backed in the transfer market, Robbie Neilson, and I think he had to be, because I don't think that squad was good enough to go and compete. But he's brought in 5 or 6 good players, and you know, tomorrow's the acid test for them. If they can go to Ibrox and avoid defeat, then maybe people think, you know, Hearts are the real deal this season. Yeah,
I always think, Charlie, you've got to build it on a solid defence. They've got a great goalkeeper, and they've also got a guy up the other end who scored 10 goals already, Liam Boyce.
That makes a difference. If you've got somebody to score your goals, it makes a difference. Craig's obviously getting a lot of plaudits because he's been phenomenal for Hearts, but also for Scotland. But Boyce's goal scoring record at Hearts must be incredible since he's joined there. He scored a barrel load last season in the Championship. Started really well this season. I think they've got more legs in their team this year than they probably did have last year. And you know, they've done really well. Obviously, bringing Suter back in has obviously helped them as well. I think he's a terrific player. So they're going well. But like Robbie said, this is the acid test. You're playing against the best team in Scotland on their own patch, and you know, if you want to try and compete or be level, you have to be consistent. They've done that so far, okay. You know, winning 5 and drawing 3, but you know, this is the big test for them, and if they can come through that, then they'll take confidence.
Michael Smith certainly thinks they can do it.
Confident. I don't think we can't go into it feeling anything but confident. You know, we've had a great start to the season. We're unbeaten, so yeah. Over the past few years, we haven't been good enough in Glasgow, but hopefully with this squad of players, you know, we can go there and challenge. You can't say you're going to go there and do that. It's obviously going to be tough, and the manager's reiterated that this week. We'll do a lot of work on and off the pitch, you know, analysis as well on how they play, and hopefully we can pick out their weak points, and you know, we can benefit from it.
Well, you can give us your thoughts on it. Bob certainly thinks that Rangers will win. He says Ibrox is a fortress, 21 wins out of 22 in the SPFL. Certainly going to take a mammoth effort from Hearts to try and get 3 points in Glasgow, but it will give us a sure sign of how strong they're going to be this season. I'm going to go 2-1 Rangers. Tam?
I think it'll be close as well. I'm going to go for 1-0 to Rangers. I think they'll grind out a 1-0.
2-0.
I think I went 2-0.
Yeah, you think?
Or 2-1.
Yeah, are you sure?
Whatever's on my
your predictor
text will be what I've said.
I'm just looking and see if I can get it, Ruffy, because obviously you think in your Premiership predictions you would remember exactly what you'd posted, and Ruffy has gone for Rangers 2-0.
He's got a lot going on in his life at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah,
golf, tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let's
After dinner speaking.
Let's stick with those three so far. Anyway, apart from that, that's Rangers against Hearts at Fir Park. It's Motherwell against Celtic. I like watching Motherwell. I think they've got a bit about them. Certainly, you know, got a cult hero in Van Veen. He's certainly come in and hit the ground running as well. But every time I go there, I always like to watch Tony Watt and see what he's got about him, and he's getting better and better, and I think he's happy there.
No, he is. He's a boy that's bounced about various clubs. You know, I know the feeling myself, a kind of journeyman, but you've got to, you know, it seems as if he's found a home at Motherwell. You know, he's settled there, his family's settled there, he's playing every week, he's scoring goals, he's doing well, so I think the manager trusts him as well and rates him, so he's got everything going for him at Motherwell. Him and Van Veen are very good up top. Motherwell have been impressive this season, straight from the very first weekend against Hibs. I thought they were good, so I don't think they'll get anything against Celtic, but I think Celtic are now starting to get bodies back, starting to get players back, and starting to look stronger. You know, Forrest and Julian back training as well, Mikey Johnson back, so Callum McGregor back. I think that Celtic will win the game 3-1.
Yeah, Ange Postecoglou agrees with you. He reckons that with all the players coming back, it's the most settled period since he arrived.
It has been unsettled, but that's why, you know, after the Aberdeen game, I was kind of cross fingers that we'd get through this international period with the guys away, coming back without any issues. And more importantly, we could, you know, the ones we have got here who have been rushed in and we're just throwing them into play could get settled themselves, even just off the field, you know, guys who are literally coming here off a plane and we're putting them in the team, you know, just have a chance to get settled. So I think not just me, but I think the whole squad probably feels, as I said, better prepared than we've been before.
I wonder, do you think once they get the settled side that they'll be title contenders, Ruffy, or is this just a season of transition?
Transition for me. I know the players to come back in. Good players, but players have been there before. You know, I don't see anybody that's coming back in apart from Forrest that will make them title contenders. You know, obviously we've not seen the centre forward boy yet. We don't know what he's up to. I just think that the failings are still there at the back. You know, obviously Julian will come back. But for me, you know, that it's okay saying they're all coming back, but he's still not got a settled 11. He's not got. Rangers have had 9 and 10 players playing week in, week out for the last 18 months, you know, but Celtic are nowhere near that.
Well, the one good thing for the supporters is they won't need their vaccine passports because it's less than 10,000 for the game tomorrow at Fir Park. As far as the home side are concerned, Graham Alexander reckons that they're not worrying about what Celtic's form is all about. They're confident because of their own form.
Confidence and going into games comes from ourselves and what we've done, not what other teams have done in different games, because everyone plays in different styles and different ways, and so we have to play how we want to play. So for me, you know, it's I think we went into Rangers and Hearts in our last 2 games. We went into those really tough venues and games full of confidence that we could get a result. It didn't turn out that way, but we certainly gave it a great shot.
What's your call, Tam?
I went for 3-1 to Celtic. I think a bit too much.
Okay, Ruffy, you're saying it there as if with a heavy heart. Ruffy?
I think I went Celtic 2-1.
Yeah, I've gone 2-1.
Yeah, I think 2-1 as well.
Okay. Dundee against Aberdeen. This is...
Are you talking about as if like it's
It's
an old
just-
firm game?
No, listen, this one has got me excited. Am I wasting my time with the excitement, Ruffy? I mean, here's one from David who says, does Charlie Adam fancy Dundee to beat Aberdeen tomorrow at Dens? My money is on the D's, and can Dundee escape the drop back down to the Championship, says David. David, thanks for that question. It's just ideally pitched at the man who's here in the studio with us. We're building it up because I think it's got the makings of a great game, Charlie. You're fit and you're available.
Well, yeah, I've picked and selected, but no, like I say, it's good that we're talking up these games, and you know, there's other games tomorrow that people are not talking about. So it's good that we're one of them. And it's a good game for different reasons. They'll bring a good support. Aberdeen are probably not playing to the level that they expected. You know, we've been playing okay. Last time out against St Johnstone, we never played well. And yeah, we're going in there with a bit of confidence still. We still feel that we can hurt teams, so we're looking forward to it. And it's another big challenge for us. And you know, if we can start bright, get on the front foot, you know, get the first goal, then you know, give ourselves a good chance to win the game.
Yeah, bottom of the table, not ideal, Ruffy, but it's early days. There's a real scrap going on at the bottom end.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody, you know, showing anything down there that are going to get away from that, you know. So you're looking at the fixtures when you play each other, and this one is an example of that, you know. Whoever wins it will take all the confidence in the world out of it. They'll move into another part of the league that they've not been in, and at this stage of the season, you don't want to be the team that's down there and getting derailed for everybody else. So that's how important this game is, that a win is vital.
Yeah, certainly a win would take you to 6 points. What's the training been like? Has it been good? Are the players buzzing? Is the $64,000 question? Is Griffiths looking as if he's hungry for it?
Yeah, no, everybody's, you know, available, and we're looking forward to it. The owner's obviously been over from America this week as well, Tim. So hopefully we can get a result for him, because it's been 2 years since he's been here. So it's be nice to send him back with a victory. And
will he be in the stand watching?
Yeah, he's there. He's been over for the last week, and we'll go back to America next week. So it's been good I think it's been good for the players to see, you know, the people involved at the football club around the training in the last couple of days as well, and it gives him a real lift. So no, he'll be in the stands watching, and we need to get a result for him.
Did he get a chance to chat to the squad and the manager?
Yeah, well, obviously I think the manager will have obviously spoke to him quite a regular and that. Yeah, and he managed to speak to some of the players, which is good. And first time I've met him since I signed, so it's good to speak about him, see the ideas that they're looking for to go forward with, and you know, the most important things on the pitch. And if we can get a result, then let's say it'll probably take us off the bottom of the league.
And before I get to Tam on this, is a sensitive subject, but have you been able to talk to them about the bonuses? Because everybody's starting to grow arms and legs this story.
Yeah, that's the problem. We spoke to John today about it, that the story grew arms and legs from nothing. There's never been a fallout. It's, you know, we went into to sort of bonuses out, and then John went to America for 3 weeks for business to do with the club. And obviously I was injured, and he's only really come back in the last week or so, and not been able to meet up again, and we plan to speak next week. But the stories of, you know, people worrying about that we were bottom of the league and losing games because of the bonuses, it's far from the truth. We're here, we want to win games, and it doesn't matter if we're getting a fiver or we're getting $5,000 to win. We need to win football matches to keep the club in the league, and that's the important thing. So all the fallout and all the arms and legs to the story is that we're not unhappy. We just feel that we need to get round and speak about it, and we plan to speak next week. I mentioned it today to him, and he's happy to speak next week about it, and we'll go from there. And you know, I just wanted to kill the bad feeling that people think there is around the club. The club's in a good place. The players are in a great place for the game tomorrow, and we'll look forward to it.
Yeah, and just that last little point on it, if there is indeed going to be discussion next week, rather than it growing arms and legs, are you a million miles apart on what you hope to get and what they're saying?
Well, listen, at the end of the day, you know, we want the best bonus available for the players in the group, but the club obviously got to look at what they're going to bring in. So we'll talk about it, but it's amicable discussions with men. It's no as if we are storming out and the players are storming. The discussion was this was what it was, and we come back and said we didn't want that, and we'll look to talk again, and we'll get it sorted. And we'll try and do the best for the football club, because that's the important bit. It's not about the win bonus, it's about the football club getting off the bottom of the league and winning matches, and you win football matches, you'll get rewarded.
Yeah, I think the Dundee fans will be happy to hear that, Tam.
Yeah, he's cleared it up. Listen, I've been involved in different things with clubs, and it does take a while to get it resolved. You know, I've played in semi-finals and finals, and the bonus wasn't sorted out until maybe the day before. So
but the big thing in Scotland is you don't need to sign anything. In England, you have to have it all signed, completed before the first day of the season. So it's not ideal. We understand that. But
would you like to see that implemented up here?
Well, if players and clubs are having problems, then yeah. But it just then peters everything out for the whole season. You focus on it, and it's not as if the lads are phoning me up or texting me saying, "Oh, we need to get it sorted." It'll be sorted when it's sorted, and we're ready to do it. There's no pressure about it getting sorted, you know. And we'll look to try and win as many games as we can, and we'll go forward from there. But the club and the squad are in a good place.
What's the bonus tomorrow?
3 points. That's it. 3 points, and we'll worry about it next week when
Will it be backdated?
Yeah, of course it will be.
I'm sure that John.
You look at many bonuses backdated now.
No, listen. Well, that's it. But listen, we're in a good place, and it's not as. It was just important that I heard you talking about it yesterday because I watched the show, and it was important that I come to say something about just. There's no story to it. At the end of the day, there's discussions and that'll happen, and we look forward to playing tomorrow. Yeah,
good. I'm glad you cleared that up, Charlie. I think it'll settle a lot of Dundee fans' minds ahead of this game because they are buzzing about it. A couple of my mates are Dundee fans, and they are absolutely really looking forward to it and feel they can take Aberdeen. Aberdeen, I mean, I can't believe it. 9th, 2 wins from their opening 8 league games. And it's 9 games without a win in all competitions, Ruffy. It's just dismal.
Yeah, it's dismal, yeah, but as Charlie said, the players will be concentrating in the game and want to win it for their manager, I'm sure. It's the 2 managers that are under a bit of pressure. Yeah, I don't mean real pressure, I just mean pressure to get a win, to ease the pressure that's on them a wee bit. Yeah, and a win will do that. And whatever, I said the other day there, whatever manager gets that win will be relieved. The other manager will still fall into the category of people will not be happy. And both sets of fans, whether it's Aberdeen or Dundee, will let the manager know that they're not happy if they don't win that game tomorrow. Yeah,
Joe Lewis back in contention, Hedges, Watkins and Ramsey returning from injury, so he'll have a stronger squad to choose from, Stephen Glass. I don't think even he can play down the importance of this one.
And any time we get beat, you look at yourself instantly and think, is there something I could have done better? And you shoulder the blame and you shoulder that burden. But I am fortunate enough to be the Aberdeen manager, and I know the scrutiny that comes with it. And I'm going to embrace it as long as I'm here. And hopefully that's for a good number of years.
Yeah, well, I just wonder what the flack is going to be with regards to this one if it doesn't go Aberdeen's way. Do you think this is the game where they're going to turn the corner, Tam? You've got your mate Charlie here.
I know, it's a big one.
No. Do you know the team yet?
I do. No, I don't know the team. No, listen, I think that it's a big game for both clubs. Both clubs are needing a result. I look at it from a Dundee point of view. Dundee are struggling to score goals. And for me as a striker, when none of your strikers are scoring, that means I look at this. I look at the service. So hopefully Dundee have got Charlie back tomorrow, and they can get better service in. Because if none of your strikers are scoring, you're looking at the service. So I think from that point of view, Dundee need to go and try and create and score goals. Aberdeen, I think, I've got goals in them, but I just think they're poor at the back. So I can only see goals in this game.
Yeah.
And I've went for a Desmond.
Yeah, 4 goals in it. Wow. I mean, I'm not sitting on the fence. It is a prediction. He's gone 2-2. I've gone 1-1, Ruffy.
I've unfortunately went 2-1 Aberdeen because I think any time before, it's just my memory that Aberdeen have struggled. They've went to Dundee and got the result they needed.
Obviously, on tonight.
Yeah. From a softy point of view, I hope it's a draw.
Stop digging out. You've gone 2-1.
No, just not for the players, for the 2 managers. I've already what I said.
Yeah.
That a draw would be good for them.
Yeah, with no probabilities, Ruffy. You do it every week. You've just stuck him in again. 2-1 Aberdeen.
Stuck him in. I need points.
Exactly, I know. I have to say, sometimes when we do get messages coming in, whether it's off the app or indeed in the live feed, there are people who like a noise up. I think Larry's nailed it, Ruff. He says Dundee don't even have a functioning email server. Some people just can't let it go, can they? It's absolutely magnificent.
That time for Partick. No.
You know? Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, good game. Looking forward to it. At no point in asking you, Charlie. Obviously, you want Dundee to win, and then suddenly all the problems, all the bonus chat, anything that's muckraking disappears. Hibs against Dundee United. This is a belter. I'm really looking forward to this one as well. Tam, I'll be through in Edinburgh to see this game. I think it's got the makings of a cracker.
Yeah, I think it has. I think I enjoyed the cup game, League Cup game. Hibs went up being 1-3-1. It was a good game. Hibs played really well that night, but Dundee United played pretty well as well. So again, Hibs have got a fantastic record against Dundee United. I don't think they've lost to them in six years. I think the last 10 games it's been 8 Hibs wins and 2 draws. So Hibs have got a fantastic record against Dundee United. I expect that to continue tomorrow. I think Hibs will be strong. Obviously they're missing Ryan Porteous. Darren McGregor will probably come in. So I fancy Hibs to win the game. I think it'll be 2-1.
Yeah, just as a little side note on this one, are you dismayed by the whole fallout from Porteous? I mean, Jack Ross was very strong yesterday in his condemnation of the abuse of the young boy. And I say young boy, he's 22 for God's sake, and he's getting abuse from all quarters.
Well, that's just social media now. It's just, you've got these people, these idiots, giving them abuse. Personally, I don't think Stephen Gerrard helped after the game, coming out and saying it was a career ender and it was a shocking tackle. I don't think it was. I think he's been in to win the ball, and he's been a bit high. Listen, he's got his red card, he's got to suck it up, but I don't think it was a career ender or a real bad tackle. It's been a lot worse. So I think Gerrard's kind of stoked the flames straight after the game, where I think he could have, a little bit more careful with his words. And Ryan Porteous has obviously took a lot of stick on social media. As a player, if you're on that, it's hard not to read it, and people are tagging and stuff. So, listen, he's got to take his medicine. He's out for a couple of games. He's got to reflect on it, on the tackle. Can he do better the next time? Can he stay on his feet? And that's all part of the learning process. But in terms of, the abuse that players get, I just think it's just a norm now. And until people start getting pulled up about it and police get involved in different things, and it's just going to continue, sadly.
And the other thing, Ruffy, which I think we've all got a responsibility, certainly on this programme and other programmes that I know a lot of good broadcasters, whether it be the BBC or Sky and the radio stations that talk about football, we love it, we dissect it, we digest everything, and then we obviously offer opinions. But I think we do have a responsibility to try and offer a balance and try and, not stoke the fire, get things excitable with language that suddenly inflames situations. And day by day, when we hear a story, suddenly when all the facts are available, it can change dramatically. And I look at the Tam Courts has refused to apologise to Ross County after a fan was cleared off racism. He says he doesn't regret taking the strong stance by holding up the T-shirt. Well, that's fine if you want to obviously make a strong stance against racism, which I agree with Tam Courts on, but I think maybe Ross County deserves some kind of, look, okay, we're sorry we had a go at your club.
Yeah, but he obviously believes, Dundee United believes that there was something. It's okay that people saying there is no evidence, we're not going to chase it, we're not doing that. Yeah. It must have came from somewhere.
But he's been cleared.
Yeah, he's been cleared because the police haven't pursued it and the SFA haven't pursued it. I mean, I just think there must have been something for him to do that.
Is so far away. I mean, he's just commenting on a situation, so he's commenting on what he believes are the facts.
Yeah, but who told him? Who told him this?
That's not the issue. My issue is, hold on a second, the issue is not who told him. The issue is he's come out and condemned Ross County. And then once the facts...
He's condemned somebody in the Ross County crowd.
Yeah,
he's not
a Ross County fan.
Yeah.
Right, so it's under the banner of Ross County. So with the facts that are available to him then, he feels strong enough to condemn the Ross County fan. Now that he's been cleared at SPFL, he'll take no action on this, and with the police, surely he's worthy of, listen, I'm taking my strong stance on racism, and I apologise to the Ross County fan who was deemed to be guilty of something that he wasn't. Is that not fair?
Yeah, it might be, yeah, but if he is so convinced that whoever told him he's protecting his player, and if he's so sure there was somebody, or whether they've cleared it all up or whatever, he's well within his rights to make a stand. Like, I'm perfect. I know what you're...
I've no qualms with making a stand. If somebody turns around and says to me, Charlie Adam has just called you a complete nutcase, and I can tell you he definitely called you it, and then all of a sudden the facts come out later, that he didn't, and I'd had a go at Charlie Adam, I would say, look, I now understand the facts. I apologise. Position A and position B.
Maybe he's not happy with the facts. Maybe he's not happy the way it's been investigated or whatever.
Well, wait a minute,
I just don't think for a minute he would do that after a game without having some kind of strong evidence that somebody did say something.
No.
No.
If there's strong evidence, Ruffy, the police and the SPFL
all the
take
time?
action.
The police are right all the time.
Wait a minute, are you telling me the police and the SPFL on this occasion are wrong?
No, I think the police have obviously been in there, and there's no 100%. If they don't get 100%, they're not going to pursue it.
No, he's been
cleared.
Can't get
any. Who's been cleared?
He's been cleared by the police. The supporter's not guilty of racism. So is he not?
I think Tam Coates jumped the gun a wee bit.
But it's only what he's been told. He's on the touchline. He's in a dugout. If somebody comes and said, "Hey, somebody up there's just racially abused your player,"
so he got it wrong. So he got it wrong.
No, the police are saying he's got it wrong because they're not charging anybody.
Ruffy, what more do you want for somebody not to be charged?
I'm only going from his point of view that if he is 100% sure that although the police can't prove any evidence, he is sure that somebody racially abused one of his players. He's not going to...
No, he's not. He's acting on somebody telling him when he's here. That doesn't mean he says he's acting 100% certain. Well, the police have investigated it.
Wow. I don't think the police get it right all the time.
So you're saying the fan was guilty of racism?
Oh, no, I wasn't there.
Well, I'm telling you, the police have cleared the boy.
Well, I'm saying the police don't get it right all the time. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just enjoying this, sitting back and not getting involved in
Well,
this conversation.
If you're cleared,
what happens if the police come back and say? What happens if the police come back and say Lee Griffiths is innocent? There's no charge there. We find out there's nothing the matter with that.
Right.
And you agree with it or disagree with it?
No, that's what the investigations in life are all about.
All I'm saying
what happens if a guy is cleared of murder? Do you automatically think, the police haven't get this right?
They might have done it.
No. They might have done it. Well, that's just the point. If the police have investigated it, the SPFL have looked and said, look, there's not enough evidence to suggest that this happened, and the police have cleared the boy.
Well, all I'm saying is the Dundee United manager obviously isn't happy with what's happened. So he's not going to retract anything.
Well,
so that's up to him.
That is up to him, but that's a different argument for the one you're posing. I think he's jumped the gun. I think he owes the fan an apology.
Yeah, I think he does as well. Listen, I think it's a very, very serious accusation to make. And I'm sure that Ross County, Dundee United, and the police have all made a thorough investigation. They spoke to witnesses, people that's been there in the crowd, and they've came out with nothing racist was said. So I think he did jump the gun a little bit, and I think he probably owes Ross County as a club and maybe the supporter an apology. But listen, it's a difficult one, and I can understand where Ruffy's coming from, but you've got to trust the police and the investigation. They've made a thorough investigation. This is the findings, and you've got to go along with them.
It's going to be mightily difficult for you to comment because you're a Dundee player, so I'm not.
Can we move on?
And I'm not going to ask you.
I also want to add that I think McNulty's going to be a big miss for him for the next 8-12 weeks with that hamstring injury.
Yeah, huge.
Operation, I think, is going to be a big blow for them.
I've got Hibs to win this 2-1.
Yep, I went for 2-1 as well.
Ruffy?
2-1, yeah.
1-0 Hibs.
Okay, you're saying that as if it's... you're saying that as if you're giving us the...
Oh, he's giving you the scorer.
You're giving the scorer as well. That is magnificent. I love that about it. Okay, Ross County against St Mirren. Ruffy, you're on a roll. You might as well slaughter them as well.
Ross County anyway, does he?
No, I've actually chipped in by saying that they do look as if they're near getting a result. Not a win for me. I think St Mirren have been impressive in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think they're good enough to go up there and get a draw. So I'm sitting on the fence in this one and going to go one each.
Yeah. Jim Goodwin is quick to point out that if they can go up there to Dingwall and get the win, that would be 3 on the bounce for St Mirren, which deserves a bit of praise.
We would prepare for this game as much as any other game, and I said to the lads, it's actually, the biggest game of the season so far, because, to go and try and win 3 games back to back in this league would be a great achievement for the group. And that's where our mindset is at.
Yeah, Jim Goodwin obviously would love to get 3 straight wins, which would be a good going for them. And of course, over the last 24 hours, he also mentioned the fact that they've really pulled out all the stops to try and get McGrath on another deal, because as Ruffy and I were talking about, it's about protecting, your prized assets, see if you can get more money for them. But I think the general consensus is we think McGrath's off ski in January.
Well, I think he's got a buyout clause, hasn't he, in the contract? So they'll be trying to remove that buyout clause to try and get, closer to whatever they think he's valued at. I think he's been excellent for them. But Jim's obviously got a few people in that Paisley area that are willing to dig deep for the wages they're talking about. So if they can sign him up, I think it would be massive for them. But the position that McGrath's in at the moment, playing well at St Mirren, but also playing for the national team, is going to be very difficult. And if I was McGrath, he's going to sit there and just wait, and then eventually St Mirren will have to sell. But as long as he keeps doing his talking on the pitch and playing well, Jim will be happy with that. But as a club and as a supporter, at least you're making the effort to try and keep him there and being ambitious. But it's going to take a lot of money to keep him there.
What level do you think he's at?
Well, you're playing for Northern Ireland. It's where he goes.
Republic, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Republic Ireland. Could I see him play for Rangers Celtic? No. But could he then go to the Championship in England? Yeah, he'd probably go and play in England in the Championship. So, maybe Preston or maybe Nottingham Forest, something like that. So, he'd be good in that. He's 24 years of age. He's still got plenty of years ahead of him.
Hate to ask this, is there a value?
I don't know what the value will be, but...
it's time for you to set it, Charlie. We love the fact that you set transfer fees.
Send us a text tonight.
It gets everybody going mental.
Say English...
500 grand?
English Championship.
Well, I think he might have a buyout clause of about 500 grand there.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So they'll
should have his own show, Charlie's valuation.
Yes, it's just absolutely fantastic.
So they'll be looking to try and get £1 million for money.
We should put a judge's hat on you, right?
Yeah.
And then give you the hammer, and then eventually we go, and here's the player, and Charlie goes, 1 million,
Charlie
and then bang the hammer down. But by the way,
transfer deadline day, we should have a breaking news.
Yeah,
PLZ breaking news.
Yeah, and Charlie sets the price. The other thing about it, remember as well though, Charlie, if we do give you a judge's hat and a hammer and you set the price, it doesn't necessarily mean anybody will believe you, because by being a judge you'd be part of the establishment, and Ruffy wouldn't be happy with what you're saying.
He'd probably say I'm lying anyway.
Well, absolutely. So I don't know how much they'll get him for, but nevertheless,
I'm glad for McGrath, but obviously I went down and watched him for Stephen Kenny and recommended him.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
The scout.
So I'd like.
Backhand did you get?
I would like to think that I'll get a little bit of along the way. I'll get a little reward.
Well,
but he's been brilliant for Ireland. Stephen is delighted with him.
I think you've already had that reward, because there's a new gazebo going into the house.
Can we see please some pictures on the app?
Well, it's a hot tub in East Kilbride. Honestly, that's magnificent. And you're talking about the whole street will be coming in, by the way. A hot tub.
Hopefully she's finished it in a game.
Hot tub in a gazebo in East Kilbride, eh?
Is that getting linked to the dish as well?
I need to
watch my dish.
For the electricity.
Yeah, for the Russian television. It's fantastic. I mean, that's magnificent. He's had the McGrath reward. St Johnstone against Livingston. If we're building things up, St Johnstone against Livingston could be a turgid one, Ruffy. I must admit. I've tipped Livingston to go down, and I see no reason to change my mind on this.
Yeah, they're changing their centre forward here and there. They kind of get, since they've let a few people go at the end of the season, I don't think they've replaced them. I've been impressed with St Johnstone, Halloran, Weatherspoon, Craig, Kane. I think all the players are playing particularly well at home. They're not big scorers, but I think they'll score enough in this one. I think I've went 2-1 St Johnstone.
I think St Johnstone will beat them. Yeah, looking at Chris Kane there, I think he's a focal point in their team, and he works his socks off for them, and he gets the rewards. And St Johnstone at home will probably just edge it.
Yeah, no surprise. Callum Davison's done his homework. He knows exactly what's coming.
Not at all. You play Livingston, you know what type of team they're going to come against. They're going to be extremely hard working. They're going to be in your faces. They've got a little bit of quality as well. So, it's one of those games. I don't think there's an easy game in the Premier League. So I think it's going to be really tough, and they're well organised. So we need to make sure we come up with a plan that we can try and break them down and try and cause them problems and limit their chances at the other end.
I've got St Johnstone to win it by a solitary goal.
I've went for 2-0. I think St Johnstone now, they've got that European distraction away. I think they've got two wins in the last 3 games. I think they'll start to go and kick on now up that table, so I'll go for 2-0 St Johnstone.
Ruffy?
2-1.
What about the old Accies tonight, Ruffy? I think we're going to go and have a look at Accies against Thistle. Well, obviously we're not going to get a starter, a main course and a suite, but...
He's paying in, he's paying.
Yeah, we're paying. No, we're paying our way. We're going to watch it.
Good.
Are you confident you can get the win? Because what we're going, Tam, with this impression of Ian McCall's after-match press conferences, which is basically, we're playing like Real Madrid, but we're just not getting the goals we deserve. Is that fair?
Like Real Madrid, aren't getting wins either. So.
He's going to have the clogs on the side of the park?
No, not at all. You know what? We're playing good football in this league. If anybody's been watching the results, their Baroths can beat whoever, and teams down the bottom can beat on their given day. You've got to take your chance, which is the same in every football. If you take your chances, you've got a better chance. But no, we haven't been good away from home, apart from the first day against Dunfermline. So I'm sure he'll be looking for a win tonight. Okay, there's a couple of points before we finish, and one of them is a serious point that I brought up that I don't know if you all remember at the time. I had concerns over how the Sparta Prague situation and allegations of racism towards Glenn Kamara was going to play out. I don't know if you remember what I said, Ruffy, which is quite simply trying to prove that there is racism by booing is going to be difficult. Now, quite a lot of people, certainly most of the poisoned knee-jerkers who fill some of our feed with poison, were quick to jump on it. But the release has come through, and Uefa have cleared Sparta Prague of allegations of racism against Glenn Kamara, and the quote is, the investigation has now concluded that there was insufficient evidence of racism or discriminatory conduct at the match to warrant the opening of disciplinary proceedings against Sparta Prague. Now, it will anger Rangers. We all didn't like the fact that he was being singled out. Because of the narrative that was in the country at that time in the Czech Republic. But I think that plays out exactly how difficult it would be to accuse the fans of racism by booing, whether it's distasteful or not.
Yeah, no, I think it's what most people expected, to be honest. I think that there's no proof that it was racist. That's the thing. It's very difficult to prove. You're booing somebody. Booing happens. Charlie will get booed against Aberdeen at the weekend. It's very difficult to prove that it's nothing more than booing a good player. And so I think that's kind of worked out as we've kind of all expected.
Yeah, it's a sad situation, Ruffy, on the basis that I think yet again Glenn Kamara has become the centre of attention when he'd rather just get on with playing his football and us enjoying what he's doing on the park. But I always thought this was going to be a difficult nut to crack.
Yeah, again, it's an investigation that they can't prove in. I feel sorry for the player because I think deep down he's been identified by the booing. Not racism, obviously, as it's been proved, but it's a horrible thing for a player to go through. Every time you get the ball, there's I don't know how many was in the stadium at the time. But and we talk about mental health for day to day, and it must be a hard one when you get away from the football and you have to have good people run about you because it's going to affect you eventually.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Listen, on a positive note, Jim McInally, my old mate, 10 years in charge at Peterhead. I mean, Jim is just an absolute gem of a guy, Charlie. I don't know if you have ever been in his company. Yeah. He's just a brilliant lad, and he's got a club where the owners and chairman believe in him and know how difficult the job is, and he travels up from Broughty Ferry, and I think he's done a wonderful job up there.
Yeah, he has, and a few years ago they were throwing a bit of money at it, weren't they, to trying to get to the next levels, and we got a couple of players on loan there who really enjoy it. So good spirit amongst them, and Jim's take a little bit of step back, and he allows I think younger ones like Si Ferry to do a bit of coaching and that, but he's been terrific, and we need people like that in the game, helping younger managers, and young coaches that want to progress, to be good mentors for them. Listen, he's played at played the top level, and you know, fair play to him. 10 years at one club, especially a part-time club as well. It's an unbelievable record.
Yeah, 418 times.
He's good. He's amazing. You know, he thinks very highly of the SFA. He's always talking about people, officials. He loves referees. He loves the linesmen.
Is it the case that you just don't like any group or organisation of authority, Ruffy?
No, I like the way he handles it. He says it as it is.
No, I'm talking about groups, police, SFA, organisations.
Ending above Perth, isn't he?
No,
you just get
no,
to Perth and
no,
that's
I
it,
like
it's the rest of
Jim.
the
I like
country.
Jim because he stands up and says what he means. He's not frightened of the SFA. He's not frightened of the referees. He's not frightened of what you get is what you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, 10 years is a long time. I personally thought he should have been the Dundee United manager. I think good enough. Overlooked for whatever reason, I do not know, but I thought it was the perfect fit for him.
Obviously, he's a legend at the club, and came on, played under Jim McLean, like that great Dundee United team. But when you look at maybe some of the substandard kind of foreign guys that's come in at Dundee United, maybe Jim, deserved a wee opportunity in there, and he wasn't a fancy enough or a trendy enough kind of name to get that job. But he's done great at Peterhead. He's been there for 10 years. I think they've won a couple of leagues, and they're quite steady. You know, League One, League Two. They're always a decent teaming up there. So. No, he's a good guy as well, so fair play to him. That's a great record. Yeah,
if anything, I think the reason why he didn't get the Dundee United job at times, Charlie played under Brian Clough, and he shows some of the qualities of Clough. He says what he thinks, as Ruffy mentioned, and he wouldn't suffer any fools at Dundee United.
Yeah, but maybe that's the problem in this day and age. You know, you can't be that. You say you can't be that old school, but I don't believe that. You know, as a young manager coming through, you have to be open and honest with people and tell them how you think and how you feel. And you know, the problem is the players at the moment they don't want to hear that because they're mollycoddled and they're looked after. Some home truths sometimes are good, and I think Jim might be that one that's just still in that old school mode, and it finds it very difficult to get opportunities elsewhere in Scotland.
Yeah, he's part of a group of managers who can boast being the longest serving. Let's have a look at some of the characters who are involved in it. McInally, 10 years. Dick Campbell at Arbroath, 5 years, 7 months. Stuart Petrie at Montrose is 4 years, 10 months. Pete Murphy at Annan is 4 years, 4 months. Darren Young, East Fife, 4 years, 4 months. Wow, Darren, I see him from time to time. That's a great record. Gavin Price at Elgin City, 4 years. Danny Lennon at Clyde is 3 years, 11 months. Gary Boland at Cowdenbeath, 3 years, 11 months. Stephen Gerrard at Rangers, 3 years, 4 months. John McGlynn at Wraith Rovers, 3 years. Wow, it's amazing. 3 years, 4 months with Stephen Gerrard at Rangers. Doesn't seem that long, does it?
Yeah, it does. I think it's
flown.
I think it has gone quick for them. But he's done a terrific job. But I think Dick and Ian Campbell have done an unbelievable job at Arbroath. I think every week they're going to beat anybody in that league, and because they're hard working, they got a good spirit amongst them, and they've got somebody that can score them a goal, and it's half the battle, especially at part-time teams. You've got to get the lads enjoying it, and they certainly do that.
The thing is that they've established themselves as the top part-time club, so they'll always attract the best part-time players, and now there's not a big gap between full-time and part-time. And a lot of players would prefer to play part-time because they'll get 2, 3, 400 quid a week and they've got a job. And so I think he's got his pick now. It was Dumbarton for a long time, under wee Aitken, and it was Alloa for a long time with wee Hartley on that. So he's got the pick of the part-time boys.
It's almost as if Dick Campbell himself had written just what Charlie said there.
I just love how Dick as well. Obviously, I watched them against Partick in the season, and it's all about just, we want to finish 9th, no bothered about nothing else. I know they're the third in the league at the moment, but he'll be just trying to get as many points as possible and enjoying, his trips away and things like that. And that's what it is for Arbroath, staying in the Championship. But it's an unbelievable job that he keeps doing. Yeah.
Okay, in the English Premier League, this is what you've got to look forward to over the weekend if you like your English football. Norwich, Brighton, Aston Villa, Wolves, Leicester against Manchester United, Man City, Burnley, Brentford, Chelsea, Southampton, Leeds United, Watford, Liverpool, Everton, West Ham, Newcastle against Tottenham, and Arsenal, Crystal Palace. And I think when Patrick Vieira walks out to the touchline, there should be a huge round of applause, Ruffy, for a legend at the Emirates more often than not at Highbury.
Yeah, I think if any of us can just think back to that team that he played in, you know, he just strolled through games. You know, he was just a wonderful player. You know, and I think anybody who played beside him would say that as well. And obviously at international level as well, he was just a touch above everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely top drawer. And Mikel Arteta reckons the Gunners fans will indeed be on their feet applauding him.
He's an Arsenal legend, and I hope he gets the reception that he deserves for what he did for the football club. Not only as a player as well, what he transmitted as a person. He was the captain of the football club in the most successful era, probably in the last many years, and it's great to have him back.
Yeah, it'll be special and emotional because he was part of the invincible side of Arsenal, and that was some feat in the day.
Oh, what a team they had. You know, having, who was the other French boy in the middle, Petit Vieira, and they had a great battle in there with Scholes and Keane. That was the two of them, wasn't it? Wenger v Ferguson for 3, 4, 5 seasons. Two of them were competing for trophies and two outstanding teams. And you know, Arsenal seem to be a long way for that team, but hope maybe they'll get back there one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just before we finish, guys, I want to show you a little bit of, it's a bit of trickery, it's a bit of skill, it's a bit of Erling Haaland with this trick shot. I mean, it is absolutely sensational, Ruffy, to see Erling Haaland, 3 balls balanced on top of each other, a target in the goal at the top right-hand pocket, and you're saying, surely not. There's the first one, bang, he hits the target. So you've got to give him that one, Ruffy. He just looks up, left peg again, second one, breaks the target. There's only a little bit of the target left, and he takes a shot again, left foot, bang, it's completely and utterly off the goal now. I mean, that's top drawer.
No trickery at all. None.
No jiggery pokery.
Well,
my God, is there anything you believe in?
I just think the skullduggery about everything in life, doesn't he?
I'm going to try that. Putting 3 balls on top of each other, I think that'd be very difficult to have them all actually not moving about or falling or anything. So next time I got to part of this, I'm going to get somebody to put these.
Why don't you try it tonight before in the warm up? You go in the pitch.
Yeah, it's Astro. I don't go in Astro.
Yeah, Tam.
You smokes grass.
Tam, that was genius, wasn't it?
Aye, I'm not 100% convinced it's real.
You think it's?
I think somebody's done that with it.
It's a con.
Aye.
Wow.
I think it's impossible to balance 3 balls and tap each other. I don't know.
Velcro maybe on the balls or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe, aye.
I'm not surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I'd expect that from 100 million plus player.
Do you know the one bit of skill that I've witnessed that is nobody could contest it is, and Gary Lineker mentioned that he did it in a testimonial at White Hart Lane as well. And Diego Maradona did it when he was playing for Napoli. He would walk out into the park, into the centre circle, and he would boot the ball about 50, 60 feet in the air, and it would come down and he'd boot it straight back up into the air, and he'd do that about 10, 20 times. And Lineker and all the guys who played in this testimonial said he came out at White Hart Lane, did the exact same thing, and he said if we had tried it, we would be running all over the park to try and get the second one. He says, but Maradona's ball control and concentration on it was so great. He says 13 times, and he said, and I'm talking world-class players were looking open-mouthed.
That's amazing.
Was there no another evidence with Maradona in a dressing room? It was a rest of the world, or rest of Europe.
The sock.
And he's just sitting and he's keeping this sock up. He's booting, he's just...
It's just that one, it's the music when he played for Napoli as well.
That's la 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 la. It's good, isn't it?
Brilliant, man. But
that's what the karaoke.
These great players, you expect, you see things like that, but some of the stuff.
Entertainer, isn't he?
Ronaldinho can do, Neymar can do,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Were you ever a big trick fan when you were younger?
No tricks whatsoever.
No, okay.
Just barge your way through that.
No, I was a trick.
I'll tell you a quick trick story. There was a Celtic game on in the afternoon in Sucky Hall Street. The precinct is, and there was the boy that does the juggling.
Yeah.
He can keep it up for like 400, 500. And while he's in Sucky Hall doing all the people are just standing watching him, and it's absolutely unbelievable. He's flicking at other people and going and getting it and thing, mate. And the Celtic boy going to the game, he's bun it his scarf on, and he just walked by and he went, It's goals that count, son.
Yeah, absolutely. I still like a trick or two, but it is indeed.
Probably funny if you were there at the time.
Yeah.
Who's the best, like, sorry, what was the best, like, skillfully that you've actually, like, played with?
Skill-wise, probably be Latape at Hibs.
Yeah.
Latape was I can remember one day he came in and he was steaming with training. So he came in, he was out the night before.
Sorry about that, Russell.
Sorry, Russell, but he was steaming. So anyway, McLeish was having a wee bit of a go at him. And so Russell took the ball on his left foot and he put it in the top corner, right? And McLeish said to him, I bet you can't do it up your right foot. But then a finishing drill at the end, they just went like that, bang, out his feet, bang, put it in the top corner and just walked in for a shower.
Yeah.
McLeish just never even whammed down or anything, just walked in, went to his motor, back to training ground.
That's what you do when you can do that, Ruffy.
Two good feet.
In the early days of Mackay Stephen, I thought he had a few tricks in his locker. You know, he was flicking it during the game, and people were going, "Oh, you can't do that during the game." But it looked good. I thought it adds something to the actual game itself. A bit of skill, seeing somebody has got the ability to try that.
It wasn't really predominant in your era, apart from Andy Ritchie could do things with the ball that some people won't dream of.
My area was a tackle. I used to
love
a tackle.
Technically unbelievable.
Big Crouchy?
Unbelievable technically.
Yeah.
Oh, he used to do his thing where he like you say, zing it up 50 yards up in the air, and he control it with inside his instep again, and he just flick it up again. He's unbelievable. His first touch was incredible for the size of him. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Charlie, although without blowing smoke up your back end, I'm almost certain we could go out into one of the, which I think we should do, Tam, just as a test of it, but I think we should go out to the park, which is not too far away from the studios, and put maybe a hula hoop about 50 yards away, and I'm almost certain you could hit a diagonal and bang it into that.
No problem.
Yeah.
You know that thing with Nakamura when he with it moving car and all that?
The bus.
That's what you paid for,
Yeah.
It's no problem.
That's magnificent, Ruffy. We're getting the moving car. I feel.
We'll take bets on it.
I feel a competition coming on.
I'm in the hula hoop.
Yeah.
I'm actually.
I'm sure he could hit you. I'd pay him to hit you after today. Anyway, apart from anything else, it's been a rip snorter of a programme, a wee bit of contention here and there, a few bits of chat, and if you get the chance, please subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel and join us, share the programme with your mates, tell them exactly what's happening. We've got competitions coming up and bumper competitions with Christmas just around the corner. We'll have some great gifts to give away. Hopefully you've enjoyed the programme. Enjoy your football over the weekend. Remember, it is only a game, it's a sport. Enjoy it, support your team, be positive. Let's drown out the mindless morons. From Tam, Ruffy, Charlie, Adam, good luck Charlie tomorrow, and from myself, Peter Martin, thanks to every one of you for watching.